Most people think expensive engine oil automatically protects your engine better than cheap oil, and most people are wrong. The difference between a $40 oil change and a $130 oil change has almost nothing to do with what's printed on the bottle. It has everything to do with understanding which level you're actually on. I've seen guys pay top dollar for a full synthetic oil change on a car that's never seen a racetrack in its life. And I've seen other guys run the cheapest conventional oil they could find in a turbocharged engine that needed way more protection than that. Both of them were making the exact same mistake, guessing instead of checking. There are 7 levels of engine oil. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what belongs in your engine, and whether you're just paying for a fancy bottle. Level 1 is the oil you grab when your warning light is already on, and you just need to make it to the next gas station. It's usually the wrong thickness, often a cheap brand that has nothing to do with what your car actually needs. Here's what's actually happening under the hood. Oil isn't just there to make things slippery. It's also carrying heat away from parts that would otherwise cook themselves, and it's carrying tiny bits of metal and dirt away from your engine's moving parts. Emergency oil, especially the wrong thickness, can't do that job properly. So you're not just missing out on extra protection, you're actively letting heat and grime build up in places they shouldn't be. In the short term, this saves you from getting stranded. In the long term, it's basically fast food for your engine. It fills you up, but it doesn't nourish anything. Remember, emergency oil is a band-aid, not real care. Level 2 is the bargain conventional oil from the supermarket or hardware store, usually a store brand with no real certification on the label. This isn't an emergency purchase anymore. It's a deliberate choice to save money. Here's the problem. Conventional oil breaks down much faster than the synthetic alternatives. Think about it like this. If your engine runs at highway speed for an hour, the oil inside it gets seriously hot. Then, when you shut the car off overnight in the winter, that same oil has to get cold enough to turn almost syrupy. Conventional oil struggles to handle both ends of that swing well, and every time it struggles, your engine's internal parts are rubbing together with slightly less cushion between them than they should have. If you're driving a very old simple car with no turbo, this might still be fine. But for most everyday cars from the last 15 years, this is already a compromise that shows up later in repair bills you never saw coming. Level 3 is still conventional oil, but now it actually carries a real industry rating on the label. This is where a lot of people think they've solved the problem, and honestly, sometimes they have. A rating on the bottle is basically a report card. It tells you the oil passed a series of standardized tests for things like foaming, oxidation, and how well it holds up under pressure. That's genuinely useful information. But those tests are designed around a wide range of engines, not your specific one, so passing the test is the minimum bar, not the finish line. For older cars without a turbo or direct fuel injection, a properly rated conventional oil is a solid, unglamorous choice. The line gets drawn with modern engines that run hotter and have tighter tolerances. That's where plain conventional oil hits a physical limit that no rating on the bottle can fix. Level 4 is where most everyday drivers should actually land: synthetic blend oil. It's a mix of conventional and synthetic oil that handles temperature swings much better. The reason this blend works so well for daily driving comes down to something called viscosity, which is just a fancy word for how thick or thin a liquid is. Synthetic blend oil resists changing its thickness as temperatures swing up and down, so your engine gets something close to the same protection, whether you're stuck in traffic in July or starting your car on a freezing morning in January. This isn't some magic upgrade or luxury product. It's the honest middle ground between price and performance that ads rarely talk about, because it's just not flashy enough. For a regular car that drives to work and back, this is often the smartest level you can actually land on. Level 5 is full synthetic oil from a well-known brand with no extra special certification. This is where most new car manufacturers actually require you to be, especially with turbocharged engines. Full synthetic oil is built molecule by molecule in a lab instead of just refined from crude oil, which sounds like a small distinction until you realize what it means in practice. Fewer impurities, fewer weak spots, and a more uniform size of molecule means the oil flows more predictably everywhere it needs to go, including the tiny passages inside a turbocharger spinning at over 100,000 rotations per minute. There's another reason full synthetic earns its price tag, and it shows up in the first 30 seconds after you start your car when a huge share of engine wear actually happens. Full synthetic flows faster at cold temperatures, so it reaches your engine's moving parts sooner and cuts down on wear from short trips to the store. It's also why many manufacturers now stretch oil change intervals well past what conventional oil allows, saving you both money and trips to the shop. The jump from level 4 to level 5 is real, but it's a refinement, not a giant leap. If your owner's manual specifically calls for full synthetic oil, this isn't optional anymore. It's what you need to keep your warranty valid. Level 6 is full synthetic oil that carries a specific manufacturer approval, built and tested to match the exact specs of one engine family. Manufacturers don't hand out these approvals for free. Car companies actually test candidate oils against their own engines for months, checking things like how clean the pistons stay and how well the oil protects the timing chain over tens of thousands of simulated miles. There's a hidden reason these approvals matter beyond raw protection. Modern cars with gasoline or diesel particulate filters need what's called low ash oil, because the wrong additive package can clog that filter over time and turn into an expensive repair. A manufacturer approval isn't just testing horsepower and heat, it's making sure the oil's chemistry won't quietly damage emissions equipment downstream of your engine. Skip that approval to save a few dollars, and you might be trading a cheap oil change for a much bigger bill later. When you see that approval code on a bottle, you're looking at the result of testing you'll never see, done specifically for the engine sitting in your driveway. Level 7 is the high-performance oil built for racing or heavily modified engines. And here's the twist that ads won't tell you. For a regular daily driver, this is almost always overkill, not an upgrade. Racing oil is formulated to survive things your commute never will. Sustained temperatures in the 250 to 300 degree Fahrenheit range, engine speeds well past what your car's rev limiter allows, and shear forces from racing spec valve springs that a stock engine doesn't even have. Here's something else racing oil gives up to get its extreme heat resistance. Race teams drain this oil after almost every session, so it isn't built with the same long-term detergent package that keeps deposits from building up over thousands of miles. Leave it in a daily driver for months, and you can end up with more sludge than a proper daily oil would have prevented, not less. The oil built for the most extreme conditions on Earth can still be the wrong tool for a trip to the grocery store. If you're just driving to work every day, you're not buying extra safety here. You're buying an expensive feeling of safety. 7 levels, and here's the truth. For most of you watching, the sweet spot is level 4 or 5, not level 7. And look, none of this has to be complicated. Open your glove box, find your owner's manual, flip to the maintenance section, and look for the viscosity grade and the certification code your manufacturer actually asks for. Here's the simplest way to remember all of this. Your car doesn't care how much you spent. It only cares whether the oil matches what the engineers who built it actually specified. Pick the level that matches your manual, not the level that matches your ego, and you'll get every bit of protection your engine was designed for. Drop a comment and tell me which level you're actually running right now. I'm curious how many of you are sitting at level 2 without realizing it. If this breakdown finally helped you understand what you're really pouring into your engine, hit subscribe. There's more like this coming.